Susan, I am delighted that we're here doing this because, you know, when you sent me a note early in the year and said you're about to publish your next book, I was so excited. And then I just knew, aha, now I've got a reason to bring this woman on to the Impact with Cynthia O show. So thank you. Thank you for agreeing to come and spend some time with me here, get into conversation. I can't wait for our audience to get to know you and to learn what you're doing and to be motivated and inspired by this book, The Magic of Walking. I met you back in, I think, 2007. Right. And you were speaking at a women's conference. I was in the audience. And at the end of the conference, I headed out to the parking lot. And you had impressed me so much from the talk you had given. And I walked out the front door and I looked over and you were sitting on a bench, clearly waiting for someone to bring a car up to pick you up. And I just thought, I have to know this woman. So I remember walking over and just going, hi, you don't know me, Cynthia O'Neill. And we introduced each other. And then within about 20 minutes of conversation, I remember saying, we have to work together. And you went, yes, we have to work together. And that was the beginning of our beautiful relationship. So after that, you spoke on the stage at Power of the Purse. You attended Power of the Purses. You and I did some lunch and learns together where I brought clients from my consulting business in to talk about media with you because that was your multi-year background in media. So, and here we are connected yet again. And you're once again part of my next new venture, this YouTube magazine show. So thank you. Thank you for doing it.
And thank you. I am so thrilled to be here because nothing has been like the Power of the Purse. It was such an amazing conference. The women, the energy, the speakers. I mean, you really pulled it together. And I was willing to go to London to be there, even when I wasn't on stage.
Oh, I know you've attended, and I so appreciate that undying support. And you've brought other women and you've promoted it for me. So yeah, it was, but it's been a real, integral part of my impact that I've made in the world. And it's the thing that has just kept me motivated and going year after year, right? To see the changes in women, even if we just touch one or two women out of the 300 in the room, and they've sent messages after to say, oh, I'm so glad I was there. It changed my life. So, and
I got some great jewelry out of it.
That's right, class squared, and I'm wearing her stuff again today. That's right. So I found something that I thought might be a fun way to introduce you. So audience, here's what I'm going to read about Susan Sommers. She has written, my new book includes highlights and photos from my own walking journey, from overweight, unathletic child to walking 2 7.5-hour marathons and 33 other races after the age of 60. So that's the piece. That's where I want you to start. Let's just share with our audience. After the age of 60, 2 7.5-hour marathons plus 33 walks. How did you end up deciding you were going to get out there and do this after that milestone age? And not to say that milestone age is old at all, because back when I turned 60, it sure wasn't either. But anyway, tell us how that happened, because that's a great story.
Well, it was funny because my marketing PR firm actually took me to that. I had a job at the YMCA in Markham at a business center. And when I was there 2 years, I got 2 free memberships to the Y Fitness Center. So I started to go. My husband turned out to be an elite runner. And so we did a run fit class, and I was always walking behind everybody else. And I decided at the age of 59 to go into my first race. It was a 5K. It was down the beaches. I had absolutely no idea what I was in for. I did the race. I went home, had a glass of wine, went to sleep. And 2 weeks later, I got a certificate and a pair of socks in the mail. And I was hooked. It really was a progression. But I was making up for the fact that, as you said, I was a short, overweight child. I was self-conscious about my weight, my height, etc. I was the last one picked for the teams. So suddenly I had a chance to shine.
I just love that story. I wanted to make sure people heard that because it has everything in it. It's got resilience, it's got inspiration, it's got motivation, empowerment, all of those things all wrapped into it. And hats off to you. I don't think I knew about the socks, though, as being the trophy. That's great. Okay, socks can motivate. So the book is called The Magic of Walking, Your Guide to a Balanced, Meaningful Life. And, you know, I always when when I hear that word balanced, I often say, is there really such a thing as a balanced life? But you know, as I went through your bullets and all your points, or steps, you call them, in each of your chapters, you can see that it is an achievable goal, but it really is something that you can achieve with this balance.
I wanted to write a new book on walking, but I was only thinking of myself as a physical walker. I'd gone into all these races, crossed the finish lines. I never really thought about the mental and spiritual side of racing, of walking. But when I realized I'd written 2 other books, I realized I needed to contribute more than just I'm a walker. And I started to think about my own life. I was thinking of doing a memoir, but I didn't think there was enough for a memoir, so I combined my memoir with photos I took while I was writing the book and doing El Camino and all these different steps. And I realized that I have been mentally and spiritually involved, especially mentally involved with walking all my life. And I suddenly realized that it went beyond the physical side. And then when I started to do these walks daily, starting in June, I realized that I started to take pictures. I'd always been a writer, and that was it. I never saw myself as visual, never really tapped into it. And suddenly I was creating these amazing pictures and sharing them on Facebook. So I went from not thinking of myself as spiritual to being in nature because I had to be out every day, to doing the mental side of it and thinking about how it reduced my own stress during COVID, and then combining it with the physical. And I think that's really what happened. It just came together as the 3 parts of my story.
Talk to me for a moment about just the getting out and doing it. Because you said a few minutes ago when you were talking, you said, because I had to be out there daily doing it. So how did you do that, Susan? And kind of share with all of us how you get up and get out there every day.
You know what? It was funny because I was not a person of routines and habits, really, particularly. I tried to put some into my life in the morning because I'm a morning person. But because, again, my husband was with me just to sort of either drive me somewhere or walk with me, and he was committed to helping me and being there, I started just to go out in the morning. And I wore my Fitbit. And as I said, I signed up with El Camino. The El Camino is 778 kilometers. So it took me 4 months to walk it. So you can imagine, I realized that the only way to do it would be to chunk it down. And because I'm in Midtown Toronto, every day we'd go to a different section of the city. One day it would be the waterfront, another day it would be on a trail, another day it would be in a neighborhood. So I really walked the city. And as I say in the book, I know every bench in the city now. I could tell you anywhere you want to walk, where you can sit, because that always became my goal, was to get to the next bench. The book I wanted to write something that you could pick up and put down. That was really the way I saw it. A small book that was just very manageable and just had chunks. So it was a combination of my philosophy, my tools. University of Toronto contributed some information, the internet, and it just was that kind of book and my story weaving through it. So that's really what my goal was.
Oh, and I think you've absolutely hit it right on the head, because that's what it is. It's a walk. It's a walk through your story, right? All through the book, which is outstanding.
I was not involved with social media originally. I mean, I taught at U of T in person. I did everything in person, right? And then I started to have to, again, because of COVID, I moved to social media. And I really had to educate myself on how to use all these different platforms. I really started getting great feedback and realized that I was motivating other people. And I think that's what kept me going in terms of the posting.
Good for you. And because, there's nothing we can't do, right? When we put our minds to it, and you shouldn't be afraid of the social media. And I realized, same for me, right? Just everything that you think, oh, I've got to keep doing it. And how am I going to learn it? What's the best way? And you can take courses till you're overcome by courses. But I love that you just did it.
And what is amazing is they're not expensive. Like maybe for $40, you sign up. I use my Fitbit. I track my time. And then I get postcards along the way, like with El Camino. Oh, you've reached such and such town. Stop and eat at the restaurant, such and such restaurant. Or don't forget to go to so-and-so, right? And so that kept me motivated. And then they also plant trees along the way for you. And then here is an example of a medal. The medals are absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, they're more, they're nicer, to be honest with you, than the ones that I get for the in-person races. So they're exquisite medals. And as I said, maybe the whole thing is $40 or $50, to actually sign up. And then with the Fitbit, it tracked me, so I didn't really have to even put in my time. I just put in the fact that I was doing a race after the first one, and it tracked my time. So for somebody like me who's not technological, it became a very easy way to do it.
Absolutely. And do you find yourself seeking out others to walk with you? I know you said Peter goes with you, your husband.
Well, it's very funny. A friend of mine of 30 years who lives in my complex, I'd never walked with her because I never thought that she'd be a morning walker. She said, "Oh, I'm so impressed with what you do." We walk now at 7:45 in the morning, and I never dreamed that was going to happen. And I realized that hour and a half in the ravine, no matter whether I walk again or don't the rest of the day, it really sets me up for the day.
And Susan, I know that you had shared before that you've had a special inspiration for the book as well. So share that with us in this conversation about your special inspiration for this.
Well, it's interesting because I wanted to dedicate this book to my brother and my father. And my father in the 40s was really into fitness. He had a chinning bar, he had a rowing machine and the hand weights. But my brother had polio when he was 3. And so he spent a lot of time with my father doing rehabilitation, etc. And the more I read about polio and post-polio syndrome, I realized that as he aged, probably his muscles would be weak, and that's exactly what happened. In his mid-70s, he started to fall and have problems, so he got a walker, and so he was really an inspiration for the book, and I have him in the book, actually. I mean, how do you walk with a walker or a cane? And he told me that he's using the book now and walking further on his daily walks with the walker. So for me, that really was a very personal, high. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And clearly is a testament that walking is for all abilities.
Exactly.
And so don't be afraid if you're afraid, or if you don't think you can get out and do it exactly the way others can. There's a level for everyone to aspire to.
Exactly.
Very good. And good to hear that he's using this and he's seeing physical changes and his ability is better. So.
Yes. He's in California, so he's got the nice weather.
He does, exactly. So that's good. So what's next with the book? So the book it's for sale now online, and I know you're waiting to do some author talks, right? Because
yes.
You've done those in the past. I've attended them.
It is available online. The Kindle book's available as well. But what's interesting is I'm also doing a course in September through Ryerson, 50 Plus program, which will be an 8-week course on how to prepare for a walk race or how to just walk, right? And I'm doing it with a personal trainer. And I'm hoping to do 4-week programs and more. I've done a lot of marathoning women, like keynotes and that kind of thing. I really hope that this gets me out there because I want to show men and women that aging, that you can control a lot of it. There's a lot that you can't control, but you really need to try to be in charge of your body as much as you can, right? So that's probably
for as long as you can. For as long as you can as well.
And
right?
again, because I am 76, I want the message to be, this is the way it looks as well. So really, maybe changing the perception of aging as well.
Oh, absolutely. And that's a message that just keeps going on and on and on. We have to keep telling ourselves and everybody else around us, especially women, that not to buy into it. But I don't know when it'll ever end. But we've got to move. We've got to move the needle somehow. So you are clearly doing that by saying, "Look, 77." I got to tell you, I'm a bit gobsmacked. I don't think I realize we've known each other for a while now. Because anyway,
well, I'm only 76.
76. Okay, there. Don't let me age you, right? So, but Susan, I mean, it's fabulous because clearly, mentally, this is working for you, and clearly, physically, it's working for you.
Right. And the most wonderful thing is when someone gets back to me to say, "I took one of those online walks," or "I bought the book, and this is what I love about it." I mean, really, that's so rewarding for me because I just had an idea for this book, and yet when I pulled it all together to see that people love it and that there are different parts of it that they relate to is wonderful.
Yeah.
Susan, this has been a ton of fun. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And to everyone watching today, whether you're a newbie or a seasoned walker, I'm encouraging you to get out there, stay out there, enjoy nature, and keep walking. Grab a copy of Susan's book, The Magic of Walking, Your Guide to a Balanced, Purposeful Life. And I hope you, like me, are inspired. I know I am. I'm going to lace up my sneakers and get out there and embrace a walking practice. Thanks so much, everyone. Be safe. We'll see you on the next show.